This is the Real Estate Investing 365 podcast, your go-to source for real estate investing strategies so you can start living the life you want and get where you want to go. With your host, Justin Hanna.
Ready? Another episode, Real Estate Investing 365. Today I got with me Jeri Frank. She is the co-founder and CEO of Stratafolio. Her and her husband Uriel founded Stratafolio after struggling with their own, tedious manual calculations and everything of their own real estate portfolio. They're located in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and she's going to go over her story, her real estate career, and kind of like the struggles she had, and then why she ended up starting this new business. So Jeri, thanks for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So you're in Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and today is, February. How's the weather there?
Actually, we have a winter storm advisory and all the schools are closed in the area.
Oh, okay. I know we haven't had hardly any winter here. It's 65 degrees today and not a cloud in sight. And we normally have a couple feet of snow, but we don't have hardly anything now. So that's okay. I'm not complaining. But besides that, why don't you give us a little rundown of your history, how you got started in real estate? I know you guys have a real estate portfolio, or you've had several properties. So give us a history of that, and then we'll dive into other stuff as we move forward.
Right. Yeah. So as any good product starts out, it really starts with your own issue. At least that's how we feel about it. And Uriel and I, who is my co-founder, we started buying real estate. And as we were growing our portfolio, we realized that we were doing more and more manual stuff every single month, just trying to understand what was happening, because we would see cash go in, expenses and costs would go out, and we were making money, but we really didn't know where we were doing well and why we were doing well. And at the time, I was a director at a Pearson educational testing company, and Uriel worked at Rockwell as a senior software engineer. So we had really demanding jobs. And so we're spending our spare time not only looking to buy new assets, but spending a whole lot of time running spreadsheets. And that really became kind of the catalyst for figuring out a better way of doing this.
Okay, cool. Right on. So what kind of properties you guys first dive into buying? I know you guys are working full time, which is the story of most real estate investors. Yeah. What did your portfolio look like before you started the company, and what did you start out buying? Single family, multifamily, what was it?
We actually started off with condos only because when we got married, we had condos each. So that was the start of our real estate. And personally, that's not the area we really want to continue investing in. So soon after that, we started buying single family homes. And so we grew our portfolio while we were still working our full-time jobs. And then as we started Stratafolio, our investment went into the company rather than our investment portfolio.
Right. No, that makes sense because, there's several different ways to end up creating passive income. One's real estate, but another probably more profitable way and better in the long run, I would say, is starting a business, which is what you guys did, because you can grow it bigger and then use those proceeds, obviously, to buy more real estate. So right. Were you guys always located in Cedar Rapids, or was this in another area where you got started?
We started in Cedar Rapids. That's where we had jobs. In the area we had jobs. And so our business has grown out of Cedar Rapids, and we've continued to bring on customers from all over the United States.
Okay. So you had your first few properties, and you guys are self-managing them, I assume?
We actually use third-party property managers.
Okay. So what were some of the struggles that kind of led you guys to start Stratafolio? Like what was the real issues that you guys were having? Because you guys have property managers, but I assume they weren't doing all the finances and everything, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Like most investors, we had all of these spreadsheets where we had all of our renters in it, how much we were collecting. We had all of our loans in another spreadsheet, when they were due, what was the average interest rate, what kind of doing the calculations on metrics, doing our understanding what our true asset value was, because that's really why you're buying real estate, right? Is to continue to grow and build that wealth. Mm-hmm. So we were doing that kind of manual calculation and updates every single month.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And then you kind of lose sight as you get busy. I mean, at least I do sometimes. I'll like forget to input stuff that I need to input. And then I kind of forget exactly. I think roughly I'm making, $1,000 a month on that property, but I'm not really sure. And it
Right.
kind of stuff gets lost in the jumble
Yeah.
of spreadsheets and different things if you're not using
Yep.
different programs. So right on.
Exactly.
So that got you guys started to found Stratafolio. Now, what is Stratafolio? Kind of explain more about it and
Yeah.
how it can help investors.
Yeah, Stratafolio is a cloud-based software solution that helps with asset management, property management, and analytics. So you can see your global view on cash flow, on debt, um, property performance, etc. It really is that one-stop shop for understanding what you own and how it's performing.
Right. Okay, cool. So what type of customers benefit the most from this? Is it like the small mom and pop that somebody owns 1, 2, or 3 properties, or like larger apartment communities? Who's your main customer focus?
Yeah, we take in 12 different asset classes, but the ideal customer of Stratafolio is someone who owns a little more than $10 million in asset value. And none of this is hard and fast because real estate is complex and many faceted. But what we say is generally you want to have a portfolio of more than $10 million. You have a heavy reliance on triple net lease customers, so you're doing annual lease escalations, you're having to do CAM reconciliations. You work with a lot of lenders, so you have to provide information to lots of different lenders. You bring on investors, and you need some sort of help with tracking your work orders or maintenance tickets.
Sure. Okay. So it's like, it would probably be, I've had several episodes recently talking to people who have founded syndication companies and they're buying larger apartment deals. So if somebody's getting into that, this might be a good option
Yeah.
for somebody like that. If they buy a building for $10 million or, they have several buildings, it would be a great strategy.
Yeah. The other thing I should mention is we also connect to QuickBooks. So if you have a QuickBooks connection, that is essential for us to working with them.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So is it possible for somebody that just has, let's say they have, they have 10 properties under their belt. Is it possible for somebody like that to use Stratafolio or a software like it?
Yeah, it definitely is possible. Our pricing structure is built on the number of buildings in a portfolio. Now,
Mm-hmm.
if you have 10 single family homes, we're probably not the best solution for you because it's not, for most people, it's just not a cost effective solution, and a spreadsheet does work. But if you have 10 commercial buildings with 3 spaces each that you're renting out, then you need a product like Stratafolio because it is too easy to miss a lease escalation. We see it all the time. It's too easy to delay getting CAM reconciliation completed, that kind of thing.
Okay, lease escalation. Can you kind of explain a little bit what that is?
Yeah, if you have a triple net lease, generally when that contract or that lease is signed, you will have an annual bump in what that base rent is going to be. It might be 2%, it might be 3%, it might be based on CPI. But on the anniversary of that lease commencement, there will be generally there is an increase that you need to alert your customer to.
Okay, and then triple net lease is more of can you explain what that is if somebody doesn't know?
Yeah, they're very common in the commercial real estate sector. So if you have a retail space or office or warehouse or industrial space, the tenant will take on the responsibility for paying for their pro rata share or their portion of that building's for taxes, insurance, and then what is considered common area maintenance. It could be parking lot, it could be lighting, it could be elevator. And so that is a triple net lease. And when you pay your rent on a monthly basis, you are paying base rent, and then you are paying something called additional rent or operational expenses. It's called a variety of things, but it essentially covers CAM and operational expenses for that space.
Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And that's kind of one of the benefits of moving into, some small shopping centers or strip malls type complexes because like you see, I know somebody that owns several subways and they have triple net leases in place to where, they're responsible for all the maintenance on the building in their space anyways. If it needs to be renovated, they pay for the renovation. They pay for, you know, landscaper to come out and do a lot of those little things they pay for. And the landlord, you kind of sit back and let them do it all. So it kind of is beneficial. But on the other hand, commercial property, you could have long vacancy rates, or you could have, the
Right.
economy might really affect the property or things like that. So there's pluses and minuses, but it might be something to look into now since multifamily and residential property prices are so high and people are looking for other avenues. So right on. Well, what does something like Stratafolio cost for a consumer?
Yeah, it's based on the number of buildings that are in a portfolio. We start out at $100 a month if you pay on a monthly basis, 85 if you pay on pay for the full year upfront. Then it comes out to about $85 a month. So 1 to 10 buildings is that first area. However, that is for what we call our essential package. The professional package, where we help you with investor relations and we help you with lease escalations. That is $200 a month, or $170 if you're paying it on an annual basis.
Okay. And you guys integrate with the property managers and you work hand in hand with them, or is it just purely software?
It's software. So we connect directly to QuickBooks.
Uh-huh.
And it doesn't matter if you have one account or 20 accounts. We connect to the API, which is basically our way to connect into your software, to that software. And we pull in all of the data that is associated with each QuickBooks login, whether it's QuickBooks desktop or online. And then we're able to pull that in, and we have a standardized chart of accounts so that we can map your data to our standardized chart of accounts, and then we start pulling in all of those transactions, and they get categorized appropriately.
Okay, so why would somebody want to use this software if they have a big, let's say they have a big apartment complex or something and they already have a property management company in place? Is this something you guys sell to property management company just to help them as well as the owner? Or, like what's the difference? I'm trying to see what would be the benefit of adding this into the program.
Yeah. So most of our customers are managing the real estate themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not using a property manager. However, we do have customers that are using a third-party property manager, and they're getting, 15 PDFs every single month of their different entities and how they're operating. Plus they have some stuff in QuickBooks. So it's very hard for them to get a global picture and understand how they're actually performing. But our typical customer is someone who is managing these assets themselves, and they have lots of different QuickBooks accounts. And in order for them to really understand what their cash flow is, they have to extract, do a download from QuickBooks, put them together, and then look at it. And QuickBooks really does a great job on the accounting side, but there are so many places where it's not set up to track leases. It's not set up to track like loan to value or debt coverage ratio or metrics that you as a real estate owner want to know so that you understand how you're performing. And your lender certainly wants to know that you understand how you're performing as well.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say, is that the most important person it pertains to is probably the person that wants to go out and buy more real estate or leverage the real estate they have and show the profitability to their lender to get, whether it's refinancing or whatever. This would be an easy way instead of, I know how it is when you're trying to buy more properties and you're trying to get together 15 different properties, all their stuff and all their information, all their leases and all. It's like, oh my goodness, it seems like a nightmare,
Yeah. And then if you want to stop that loan, you have to do it a few different ways. for whoever needs it. So yeah, it is quite a task.
For sure. Okay. Well, what about on your personal side? Are you guys still buying real estate, or are you just focused solely on the business right now?
Right now we are focused solely on the business, but soon we will be back into the buying spree.
For sure. Okay. Well, where is Stratafolio headed? Like, is there any future things that you guys are working on that you're trying to come out with, or um, things that might excel the business, or new areas you might branch into?
Yeah. Uh, so we're first focused, of course, on those QuickBooks customers, because that's a very large segment of the United States that really doesn't have a solution. But then the next area that we are focused on is spreadsheet uploads, because so many people use third-party property managers and need a solution where they can extract that information in an Excel format from their third-party property manager and put it into Stratafolio so they can see that in combination with everything else they have going on.
Yeah, for sure.
So that will be one of our next places we're going. And then, of course, down the road, we will be adding lender logins because lenders do need access to your information. And we all know, as you were saying, how much work it is to put that information together. And kind of throughout our whole development process, not only have we worked with our customers to develop the product, but we've also worked with lenders as well, because we both have the same customer, and we want to make sure that the information that we have works, because it's all about streamlining the process all the way around. From just running your business in a more automated fashion, but then being more efficient and save time on working with your lenders or your accountant, et cetera.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's good to know. So what programs integrate with Stratafolio? Is it just QuickBooks, or is there some others?
Right now it's books. We'll do spreadsheets, and then Sage and MRI are on the roadmap for the future.
Okay. Can you upload, like Google Sheets files and stuff to it as well? Or is it just Excel?
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. It'll probably be Excel, but I'm sure you can convert Google Sheets to Excel.
Right. Yeah. No problem. Okay, cool. Well, this is kind of quick and easy, intro to Stratafolio, and kind of gives like another option out there to investors that kind of want to consolidate and have a global overview, like you're saying, so they can have easier time, getting loans or working with their property manager and things like that. So my next question would be, we'll have two questions. When you guys were learning about real estate, you and your husband, what was your guys' favorite resource to learn more about real estate? And then what's a resource that people can learn more about Stratafolio and how to get started in that?
Yeah. Gosh, where did we learn?
It could be books or podcasts or mentorship. Like, a lot of people like to stick to mentorships. They think that's the best way, or podcasts because they can get a lot of information quickly. What was your go-to?
Yeah, so we did join a couple of local investment groups just to understand how other people were doing it successfully. And then we were big readers, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, of course, I think everybody reads that. And then we listened to quite a few audiobooks, and we're not afraid to Google and just do research and figure out what is the right way to do something. So I wouldn't say it was necessarily one resource, but we do have a shelf in our library dedicated to learning real estate.
Yeah, for sure. Well, that's the thing too, is like just getting out there and just doing research. It's almost like sometimes we're afraid to type in questions. You know what I mean? Like we're afraid to like push ourselves like, well, what if this happens? Or what if this happens? It's like we need to open up that door to like more possibilities, and not be afraid to really research different opportunities. I don't know. I find myself doing that sometimes. Like I'm afraid to even type it in the keyboard or something, like different things. It's weird. I don't know. But no, good information. Yeah. Rich Dad Poor Dad definitely helped a lot of people. What about a mindset tip that you guys have, let's say in business, you guys went from full-time W-2 employees to starting your own company. Like what was the mindset you guys had to quitting that job and then going full on entrepreneur and running your own company?
Yeah. I think we both just have this this mindset of persistence.
Mm-hmm.
And just it's not that you just keep learning every single day from the mistakes you make and what you're seeing, and just keep adjusting and moving forward. Neither one of us give up. So it's just figure it out and just keep understanding what's working, what's not working, and just keep drilling in.
Yeah, for sure. And that's one of the things too, is like, if you're kind of a go-getter at all, you're in a W-2 job, you might have an important role in that job, but there comes a time where I'm sure everybody feels kind of like you're at a ceiling, you're just working for somebody else. You're not really progressing. Like, you don't have a progressive timeline. Like, okay, next I'm doing this and next I'm doing this.
Right.
And then you kind of lose your drive, if you don't have something you're working towards, and then life gets boring, right? Every day you get up, do the same thing. And so that's kind of one thing I think entrepreneurs or real estate investors have, is they're always looking for the next thing, what's going to excel them and make them better and continue their growth towards whatever they're working for. So, yeah.
I have not been bored at all.
Well, I'm sure starting especially like a new software company, there's so much. I mean, I wouldn't even know where to start. Like, you just get on a computer and start coding. I don't know. I don't even know what it's about.
Well, luckily, Uriel is a software engineer, so he knew exactly where to start.
Right. No, that's for sure. Okay. What about a favorite app or technology besides Stratafolio that you like to use that helps you just in your day-to-day operations, whether it's real estate or business or personal, something like that?
Oh gosh. Well, we use Garmin a lot.
Garmin? Yeah.
Yeah. So the Garmin app is up a lot. Sometimes just because we are constantly checking how many steps we have. and we're fairly competitive people. So there's always some family competition going in or around steps and just getting workouts in and that kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure. No, that's great too, because that's one thing I've noticed a lot. Most entrepreneurs, real estate people, they're also health focused, because if you're not eating right or exercising right, to keep your mind and body right, then your business isn't going to grow either, So, all right. Well, before we wrap this up, where can people find out more about you, your company, get in contact with you, anything like that?
Right. They can find us on stratafolio.com. We help real estate owners in 4 major areas, which is cash flow management, debt management, investor management, and operations management, which includes lease management and work orders. They can contact me directly at Jeri Frank. So it's Jeri, Jeri, at stratafolio.com, or my phone number is 319-214-3092.
Okay, and that's Stratafolio, Stratafo, folio. LIO. That's funny. It's early in the morning over here. I got up early at 4:00, went to the gym, so I'm a little tired. But, all right. Well, perfect. Thanks, Jeri, for being here. I appreciate that information. Hopefully people will reach out to you and use your software and get a better overview of their finances and all that. So I appreciate you. Thanks a lot. And you have a great day.
Thank you.
All right.